All right. All right. So welcome back to M&A&D&D episode 129.
Yep.
I just labeled. Yeah, 129. What remains? Yeah. So last time on your quest to get to the heart of the mysteries of Myth Dranner, potentially track down this kind of fabled weapon that may help free Quetzalcoatl. You guys found what was a buried, probably more like a tomb than anything else, right? That hid some of the past, the secret knowledge of Myth Dranner. But the last room you went into pulled each of you individually into your own portals, where you were met with harsh realities. And as far as everybody had a chance to go, except for our big guy, Vamos. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start. Uh, well, at the very least, let's pick it up in the room. Um, and so it should be.
Everyone should be in the
So
middle now. Asher should be out. And David should be out. But they're not on the map yet.
we could pull their pieces out.
You want to do normal questions, Diva, or no?
We don't have time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I skip it. I always just jumps on the map, bigger than life. Uh, so Vamo, after walking through the portal, well, let me see. This is the same one.
But everyone is holding their breath on how bad mine's gonna be.
I think the funny thing would be is if it's just like a cheerful thing and that tortures you.
I make you sing dance.
When I was a young boy.
All right. So, as after walking through the portal, you feel a bitter bite of the mountain air. Each step forward is like a page from out of a familiar book. As you walk this path countless times, at the top of this paved path, whose stones have been set in place by your own hands, lies a temple dedicated to Bahamut. The gray stone architecture stands contrast to the topaz sky, snows, and the snow-capped peaks surrounding it. Both humble and opulent, the temple is handcrafted art carved out of reverence to the one true God who has bestowed his holy symbol upon you. As you climb further up the stairs outside the cathedral of your dragon deity, you are confronted by an old man who had been crouching next to your temple amongst the bushes. And as he emerges, he pulls his trousers up and he greets you. Vamos, welcome home.
Hmm. Thank you.
You've
I
had quite a journey, but you seem skeptical of even your home.
I there have been many trials and tribulations. Mental manipulation has not been an uncommon theme. Trials of the soul, of the heart. I fear this is the same. But
Hmm.
faith untested is no faith at all, after my own words.
You remember what was here before you started laying these stones?
The emptiness. The massacre. I remember why I made this here.
Why you made it? And what was your unrelated? Hold on. And he points his finger up, and then he turns around and he walks back up to one of the stone walls of the temple, and he rests his hands against it, and he pulls his trousers down, and you just hear a spring of water shoot forth. Then he gives a little shiver up his spine, and he turns around. Pardon me. It's one or the other. It's never both. Then he walks back up to you. And he moves over to a large stone that is set off the path. He clambers up in it. He sits cross-legged. What you built seems like a desecration of a holy place.
So a test of faith this one will be. Please, enlighten me with your theory of how this was a desecration.
Imagine back before these buildings were here. And he kind of just waves his arm across his in front of him, and it seems like those buildings and the architecture that you had put in place kind of become opaque. And now focus, really focus on what it is that you ruined in order to make a monument to your own ego.
There were planes. There was blood. There was murder. Tell me how that had any right to remain the desecration which happened. And who are you to lecture me so? You who violate this holy place with excrement. And you didn't even wash your hands.
And so you think the blood, the bone, the muscle, the sinew that remained of your loved ones wouldn't have washed away? That instead of letting those sins of the past wash away in the holy rains, the natural order of things, you had to make a monument to your own pain?
There was nothing natural about the cult.
Death is the most natural thing.
Death is. Murder is not. Sacrificing of souls to an unholy goddess is not natural.
I recall not too long ago you sacrificing souls. But
Was I
alas,
trying to resurrect a goddess? Or was I trying to give them peace? Why did I do that?
What you were trying to do was stop the march of time. Those people would have died, one way or the other. Life would have moved on. Their bones turned to dust. Their names forgotten.
Death comes for us all. That I won't argue. That is the natural order, but murder is still not part of it. To hunt for food, to hunt for anything rather than simply souls to let Tiamat rise. No, that is not the natural order of things.
It is a perspective I thought you'd have outgrown after seeing what you've seen. So, there's one last shrine to hubris you must finish. Follow me. And he leads you into the giant temple at the top. You smell the incense burning. As you pass the precipice of the door, you no longer hear that wind whipping through the air. Just the flickering candles that illuminate you. At the very end of the chamber, there is this crumbling wall, kind of the keystone piece of your architecture. They're made out of mosaic stone that depicts Bahamut. Next to it are the stone and mortar tools that you are used to, having crafted so much of this temple and surrounding buildings. This is where you and I will part ways. I noticed you didn't wipe your feet when you walked in. Desecration. As he steps back into the shadows and disappears.
You're sick, lowlander.
You start to step closer and closer to that crumbling mosaic of Bahamut.
Is there anything odd about it? Anything changed?
Well, one of the things that you notice is that the stones that are set there, they're much different than the stones that you had like unearthed, that you had brought to from quarries that you had made, that you had built the rest of the structures. That these probably part of the wicked design, all seem to be of a different nature.
Right. That was definitely bear exploring.
So, as you grab one of the stones, hold it in your giant hands, you hear just like a faint whisper, a familiar voice. It's hard to place. It's been years, but familiar nonetheless.
I'm afraid to ask whose voice it is.
It sounds like a child saying "Dad."
It's distant enough that you don't recall a name, but certainly a face. A smaller one of your kin, younger. You had remembered him from your herd, long past.
So this will be a test of my failures. I am here. I am listening, Blacka.
So you take some of the mortar and the trough, you slather that stone in it, and you set it upon the mosaic.
And I will see what moves me then. I will see how it changes.
Not just a faint and subtle breeze that enters the room. The candles that illuminate this temple flicker a little bit.
He will not take off his bees, obviously, but he will kind of like unsling the hammer, kind of divest himself of the weapons as he is a war priest. This seems, war cleric, this seems more of the job of a priest. As he kind of just not all priests are clerics, but all clerics are priests. They are taught the ways and very symbology, wrong word. And a very symbiotic? No, wrong word. I can't get the right S word. Oh my god. With symbolism, he will divest himself of like the shoulder plate, all the heavy armor that defines him as more than just one who would proselytize, one who would give sermons. He is putting down the aspects of war, and just as a simple priest, kind of going about the duties of upkeeping this, and what's going on. And doing so, he, his prayer beads are always on his left wrist, and he's just kind of going through them, each name, each bead, reminding himself why he did this, or just reinforcing it, because there isn't guilt there. It isn't like, oh, I wish I could have saved them. That's not part of his mindset. He would not be where he is if that hadn't happened. He likely wouldn't have been chosen. He wouldn't have gone through what he've gone through. There's a difference between holding guilt and, to go with the argument, the natural order of things. This is the hand he was dealt. And while he will carry their names and their memories, he continues to move forward through this. The motions of making the mosaic known to Bahamut, but also to his people, who also were stepped upon and forgotten within the span of the world. There's a lot of reds, like he will smudge and do those hues. Not just the red of blood, but his own people who had the marble veins of the different giant clans. It's not sadness, it's reverence. It's he had not been blessed when they died. He was not able to give them the last rites and make sure that they went with the spirits and the guardians. If anything he regrets, it's that they were not given proper goodbyes. He had not been taught the ways of his people. At that point, he was only a child, a youngling. And in many ways, this temple was to ensure, with hollow ground, that their souls were able to move on.
You place now a dozen stones upon the wall, each one whispering to you, you honoring them in your way. You slap the mortar on each stone and cement it into this portrait of Bahamut as it becomes more and more detailed. Each stone you had set in place, followed by the flicker of the candles in the room now considerably darker than it had been. You look down and you see 6 stones remaining. As you grab towards one, you see this kind of metallic glimmer to the stone, and it seems to change like liquid metal. And there is the faint sound of a conversation you had had with one of your companions.
He smiles at that.
Often the two of you had talked about your faith, and your pledges, and your devotion. Do you slap the mortar on it and set it in its place?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, but they don't go. So I can tell you with each stone what he thinks about for each character, if you like. If you want.
Yeah,
Or you could do.
yeah.
So for Astrid, actually we'll do Astrid first. He thinks about the few debates they've gotten into about faith when she doubted herself. And when she questioned, and when he had to bring her along, in a sense, one of our very first games we ever had together. Just the argument of, we are priests. It's more than just being a paladin or a cleric. It's more than channeling the essence. When he had to remind her, it was reminding himself. So, in that sense, her moment of weakness or her moment of doubt made him all the stronger for it, because he had to remember, in supporting her, he had to remember why he did things. And so, while he's never told her that moment with Astrid was one of the most important ones to him. for Liam.
Yeah. So
Oh,
hold on
go
before you
ahead.
get
I'm
on the
sorry.
next one.
Oh, I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So you slather the stone in the mortar, and you place it upon the wall, and a faint calling out as the room grows just a little bit darker. Okay.
For Valen, there's always the food, the delicacies that he makes that while he never vocalized that he appreciated, he did. It was something that he was not supposed to enjoy. It wasn't really one of the teachings that he grew up under Tempest. And it's a guilty pleasure that rather than the simple stews of his people, he's gotten to enjoy this richness and from that understand the area and the food and the people. And the bard has shown him that other cultures have such depth by their cooking. Every time he recreates a specialty dish, he has to understand what's within and why. And it makes it hard to be isolated because he found a lot of strength in that. But because of Valen's skill and the stories he told, and it always captured his imagination, it really called to the sage in him, the one who wanted to learn, rather than simply have to carry forth. So Valen had made sure that the spark of learning remained.
You slather the stone in mortar. You put it in its final resting spot in the mosaic. The candles flicker. A couple of them go out. And you hear like the trailing off of a. Valen plays a flute, correct?
Is it flute or a lute? I don't remember which.
Lute. He
The
doesn't
lute?
play any woodwind instruments. You imagine Valen with a woodwind instrument? Come on now.
I believe we try to make it canon
We
that he
did.
played a
He
flute
fought
made out
it.
of the flesh of something else.
Oh, he has a. It's not a flute. It is a wind instrument. I forget what it is, but it's one of
Either
plagues
way,
of fear.
you,
He has
you
a
recognize,
magic
yeah,
weapon, a magic one actually.
you recognize that one of his instruments kind of just fades off into existence, and you reach over and they grab the next stone. Uh, this one smells of sulfur.
Oh, Darth.
This one would be Liam.
I was making a different joke. So he wants Liam to be next. I was going to save him for last, but alright. We'll go down this road. As he is forced to recall the haughty sorcerer rogue, he kind of looks at the stone. There's two feelings. One is just raw irritation. That's going to be a thing. It's just raw irritation. But on that same token, it's the irritation that only family can give. That the annoyance of a little brother that you just want to shove into a cave and slam the door shut and walk away for a century. There's that passion to be angry because every time he does something that is boneheaded, it's for the right reason in his heart. And they have such different points of view and faiths. One is very much the ends justify the means, be Liam, versus the actions are important for Vomel. and certainly he has been very helpful and creative, um, there's just, again, that frustration. The other part is the loneliness that he senses from Liam. Same with his brother. Kind of a whole thing, because communicating about emotions is very difficult for this group because of emotional damage. And there's the sympathy there that he hasn't had enough time to console them. Like, and not like, it is, they have been in non-stop war zones. Oh, Eb, you're right. You don't have damage. You failed and botched your death rolls for your emotional trauma. You're correct. We're well beyond damage, honey. You are your entire master's course. That is what you are. But going back to Liam, as much as he is frustrated by him, he cannot deny the fact that sometimes the insanity has made sense, or the fact, again, the pain and the trauma he's been through. His reaction makes sense in the end. If he had a demon chasing him for years, he would be somewhat paranoid. Thankfully, he missed the entire cheese obsession episode, which I'm very happy about. But again, as much as he does want to just ball gag him half the time, just for David's reaction, that was the best part. Like just watching that has been brilliant.
I just want to cut back to like Liam outside of all this happening, and he gets this warm feeling about himself. He's like, I think someone said something nice about me, like they think I'm hottie.
Mm. Did I mention delusional? I might say delusional, so we have to go back to that. But no, so seriously, before psychoanalyzing the elf further, the reason why he has, or Vommel has not left and he has not abandoned the group, is a sense of need. They have done so much, but they need a compass half the time. It's very easy to go forward and move and continue into violence and to find a way to distract from oneself. It's much easier to do than to think. And so that is where, again, pity is the wrong word. He's not like pobrecito. It is more the knowledge that if the world would give them, I think I froze. Oh, I'm back. Oh, it's because it told me that Darkwing is playing Mass Effect. If they were given time to actually spend on themselves, they would probably be better. But the mortar that they have, the mortar that connects M&A, is of trauma and pain and action. And this skein of life has not given them that patience or that courtesy.
So, as you step forward to set the stone in place, you reach up kind of above your head and you put it in the brow. You see just like this faint light kind of get covered up as that liquid mortar drips into the crevice and blocks that light from coming into the temple. The room goes a little dimmer as you stand back. You hear that echoing sound of Liam calling out, and you grab the next stone.
As the other fellow, not as human, Darth is both simple to understand and not. He is direct. He is perhaps more crass than he would like. But at least in that sense, he is more honest than most of the other party members. Like, there isn't deception, there isn't a lie, there isn't anything but the moment with him. And there's something to be learned from that. There is the honesty of action, and there's the honesty of thought. While he believes that the barbarian could be more than someone who swings a hammer and tries to violently consummate with anything that is going to give consent, or not consent sometimes, the two of them are linked in the sense that they are the ones that stand out. They are the ones that in a crowd would be the most assumption would be made about them in a negative sense. Goliaths are not known to be intelligent. Dragonborn aren't truly known to be they're not that are evil, but depending on the color of their skin and their scales, they face more discrimination than elves or half elves or humans. So there's the knowledge of the inherent racism or speciesism that he has gone through. And there's that echo there. And so that piece of Darth he carries with him, and that is where their synergy is.
You step forward. You see this kind of like beam of light shooting out from behind the mosaic, and you put the stone in place, and that light dissipates, and the room becomes yet darker as you return back to the few remaining stones and mortar, and you grab the next one.
Last but not least is Val. In some ways, this is the easiest one. He has seen Val's reaction to the loss of his childhood friend. He has seen the pain that he's gone through for having been mentally manipulated, deranged, caused asunder, hand forced. He has watched him walk away from trying to actually solve a problem because it hurts too much, and it is better to move than to wallow in the pain that could follow. That is something he can understand the most, and perhaps is the most fitting that this is the last step. Because what is this place that he has built but a monument to what could have hurt? Rather than build, Val moved. He's a ranger. His is a life of motion, of action. His shrines, his rites would be small things, portable, or sacred places in the woods that are already crafted by nature or the Aether. How we express our loss, how we deal with that pain, in the end is always the same. It's internal. You can lash out. You can rage against the world. But when something of yours is gone, it hurts. It is the simple, binding truth of existence. We can hide behind that. We can hide behind words, barbed or not. We can hide behind armor and actions and violence and motion. But that doesn't change the fact that that hole remains within us. Just like Vamul is building the mosaic as he tries to block out those holes, the ones that have been there since his heart was pierced, since his life was taken from him. Why this mosaic makes so much sense. There's a thread, a common one, across this party. Loss has occurred so many times by happenstance, by fate. The true mortar that heals those wounds, that blocks out that pain, is that of companionship. Often that bond is through further trauma. And that's the irony of it all. You must be hurt further, deeper, and darker in order to actually let someone in, to form a trust and a bond strong enough that you can be true. Facades, bricks, houses, they are places to hide. They are places to shelter. They are walls. There are moments when we need respite. And there are moments when we must walk into the wind and feel the bite of the cold.
And yet another beam of light goes dim as you set this stone in place. And you step back and you notice that you were given a sixth stone. Well, you had presented this like it's your last. You reach down and you see this stone seems to be etched in these quartz, these feathers that kind of run its course around the stone. The moon barely lit enough for it to see. You see just this one tiny beam of light shining in the top left corner.
I have not forgotten you, Quetzalcoatl. I know what it's like to be lost. I know what it's like to be bound. I know how it feels to be unable to fulfill your full duty. There is room in a heart for much. More so than we ever think. I carry your jade. I will carry your stories. You will not be forgotten. And we will succeed.
As you fit this last stone in this place, you hear the cries of countless voices. The room goes completely dark. And then you just hear the pounding of feet. No, 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 no! And out of the shadow comes that old man, and he thrusts his two fists through the mosaic, shattering it. And as it crumbles down, you see the radiant citadel back behind. And he starts to grow larger and larger, and he picks you up in one hand. These sickening platitudes every stone set in place by your own fucking hubris. It begins to grow even larger as he starts to bring himself up out of the stone roof. The temple crumbles around you. He continues to grow so immensely that he's now, with you in his hand, kicking down the buildings that you had set in place. Every stone a testament to your own sadness, to your own sorrow, to your own pain, denying what you've been shown, denying the worlds that you've seen, and here you are, more hubris. This is a temple to yourself. And he chucks you, he throws you across the mountains, and you just start flying through the air, hitting peaks, and then all of a sudden you start tumbling and you're hitting trees and tearing through boulders until you hit the portal and you find yourself back in the main room on the ground next to your companions.
Ma, you got bigger.
That's what she said.
Bloodied, battered, caked in mud, dirt, your own blood. You're on all fours, trying to catch your breath. The five of you stand around, taking stock of what you have just gone through, silently, quietly, trying to decipher what it is that you've been revealed.
I take it we had a different horrible experience.
Test of faith, I assume? Or self?
I don't know if mine would be considered faith, but definitely among my worst inner demons.
It would still be faith. Faith in oneself is still faith.
Darfarius appears with a cup of ale in one hand. The smell of smoke and food and wine all around him.
Where do you go when you have such a good time?
He just kind of burps and gives you a grim before he staggers over to his hammer and hops into it. I gotta sleep this off. It was a good time.
Well, I'm glad one of us is having a good time.
At the end of the hall, you see one portal appear.
Is that north of us?
Yeah.
So over here somewhere. Okay. I don't think we'll be all cut off this time. You all ready to go through?
I mean, this is your guys' chance to do whatever it is that you want to do.
I'll say, as you guys kind of look around, you probably see Val still slumped over, shoulders shaking. He's visibly upset. And it kind of just comes out as just a roar out of just pure sorrow and grief that eventually fades into just pure rage. All you see if you're able to see at all, Val is crying, but noticeably only one eye is producing tears. The eye that doesn't have a scar. This further enrages Val, and before anything else, in a flash, you see the dagger come out, and he slices under his scarred eye.
Are you insane?
And mad because he couldn't cry properly at what had just happened, that physically nobody else understands what's going on. He starts bleeding, and in his rage, you see his eyes soaked in blood change colors, and his eye is now, where it would be white, is now black.
3 hooded figures darted back down the alley, their steps even less concealed than before. Now was the time Laura had.
And he just stands up, blood and tears, reaches into his bag, pulls out the charred remains of the blue dragon mask, puts it on,
Oh my god.
and he just looks up and he goes,
The other hand, their task was done.
"It's time to hunt,"
Oh.
and starts walking towards the portal.
Give me strength. No. That's the point of what we just went through. It's not time to hunt. It's time to heal for a moment.
We've gone through very different things, Vamel. You know
I'm-
not of what I've gone through.
You're right, because you don't share. And so perhaps now, as we just went through trials of self, is the time to do so. Where I was tested was things that would do this. Carrying pain onto myself. Not sharing. We have been through so much, Val. The mask is proof, let alone the scars on your soul, let alone those on your body. We have not gotten a moment of respite. That will drag on us.
And I will give those who did this to me and did this to those that I love no moments of respite. They will know that they are hunted until they no longer exist.
Of that I don't doubt. But that is not the point of right now. You wish to leave those who have been by your side? We can't keep carrying this weight alone. That's not the point of it. They are trying to break us because they don't give us the time to heal. I can heal your body. I can bring you back from the dead. But only you can unburden your soul willingly. I won't say people here won't judge you, as your brother is here. But the rest of us would listen. And I think that is the most important thing. Can't drop my voice low enough to be Bumble right now. I apologize.
I don't think Val's in a headspace where he's ready to talk about anything.
Oh, I didn't think so, but I have to try. There's a persuasion
Gave
ability.
you that impression.
I think it was the bleeding eyeball, maybe the mask. I don't know. There's very subtle context clues.
Kind of wipe your blade clean and say, "I'll try the forgiveness after I'm done with my vengeance."
It's not
His
bad.
name is Inigo Mentora. You killed my father. I'm ready to die.
Val's gonna look at this portal and trying to discern if he feels. I don't know why he keeps trying to discern if he feels like they're gonna like screw them over, because every time he's jumped through it, it's not ending.
Yeah, I don't know if you're doing any discerning other than just jumping through and then finding out if you come out the other side okay or not.
Wait, there could have been growth. There could have been. Let's see what happens. It's possible.
While he's
Your
doing
current
his
mind
thing,
state.
I was gonna say
Your
while
current
he's
mind
doing his
state.
thing with that, I'm gonna wrap a rope around him and tie him to myself, just so he can't go one way or another.
In your current mindset, you're very much now 1 foot in front of the next, and you do give at least inspection in the sense of your portal gazing abilities, and this is the only way forward. You are no longer reading any, and in the sense that you do get some apprehensions about other portals, and even laughingly at this point there was apprehensions about the portals you all had just gone through, but you knew they were a means to an end. This is very much, there is no apprehension. We are all going forward. And so
you realize Val will consistently either cut the rope or
You're not in the right headspace right now. It's happening.
Well, here's what happens. As you had tried to...
You try to tie a rope around Val, he will stab you.
You were doing your thing. I'm just putting a little rope around you. Not a big deal.
When you went to reach for your rope and you put this plan in motion, you felt a lack of strength that was bewildering, and it kind of stopped you in your tracks. You don't have the strength to apprehend your brother. You don't have the strength to put up much of a fight right now. You stand up because you had still been in kind of that kneeled position after being ejected from your portal, and you're at loss of breath. You're breathing shallow. You have like this kind of sweat across your brow and a little bit of your vision a little bit askew. As you try to stand up, you have this kind of like faint dizziness. And so as your other companions start to march forward, following Val, you look around and it's you and Vamal who seem to be lagging behind and a little slower in your movement.
Liam being you in this case?
Liam and Vamal.
So they're noticeably tired or sickly after coming out?
Liam notices. Vamal notices. They would know. They would need to roll. Liam notices Vamal. I don't know if Vamal notices Liam, but certainly, unless you all want to take a roll, no one else notices.
Val's not going to notice that.
Yeah, you're not noticing at all. Valen is still contemplating the bombshell that was dropped on him, and so this whole time, even amongst what you had come out and shown, believe it or not, our friend Valen seems to not have noticed anything.
Oh my
It's like he's not there. He's just not all there right now.
I don't know. It feels like it's in character if Terry was still here. I don't really think there's much of a difference right now.
Yeah. Believe
We
it or
don't
not,
hear a fan. That's a big difference.
believe it or not,
As of right
inconsequential.
now, so long story short is, as of right now, Astrid is the only one that has any sort of wits about her. And I see any sort very loosely.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Darf came out in a drunken stupor and is already back in the
Yeah,
hammer.
Darf is drunk
Valen doesn't. Valen is suffering from blood loss.
or something.
Vothel and Liam are both woozy, and Val just half blinded himself again and is in a fit of rage.
Yeah, I would say Valen is also
Ash
suffering
has
from. Valen is also suffering from a bit of an existential crisis.
Yeah,
As one does.
Yeah.
a lot of that today.
All right. So are we going through the portal?
Can I just look at everybody? Should we go through this portal?
I don't think we
I
have a
don't
way
think there's
out
any
otherwise.
stopping. Yeah.
I mean, there's always hold person if I have to.
Yeah.
It's tempting at
I
times.
mean, okay, well, yeah, I guess we go.
I won't leave them alone. I don't know if we want to go to the. If we want to, like, this is like the stopping point, or else like Vamos gonna start talking about what he just went through. So that's the entire point.
Yeah. No. I mean,
Yeah.
even better before we go to the portal. Let's
I will sit down on the top stair and listen. Apparently,
Can
I'm
I,
tired.
well, so while everyone talking, can I, medicine is not, I guess it's maybe medicine, but like, can I, since they're feeling sluggish, check to see if like they're cursed or poison or like, is it like just an effect of, is it just like portal sickness or is it something deeper?
Yeah. So what check are you gonna roll?
I don't know. What check would it be?
Perception would be
be-
your way to notice, and then if you know what, like,
I think it would
what's
be
the-
insight. No, I think this one is honest to God insight.
Insight and then Arcana, right?
Insight. I
Yeah.
can do an insight. Well, I can do both, but good.
All right,
Really
so-
crushing it
so-
so far.
Yeah. So you hesitate, but you start to see that the blood dripping down Val's face, and your brief attempt to check in on the rest of the group is drawn away as Val like kind of keeps marching towards the next portal.
Would you like to try your Arcana roll now?
Yeah,
She
let's
w-
try
she wouldn't-
Arcana.
She wouldn't roll
Yeah,
it 'cause she
I
failed
didn't
her
notice
insight.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she wouldn't even roll her Arcana at this point.
I'm gonna. Everybody else is like unmoving, more or less, correct?
Val is.
Well,
still
Val
charging towards-
is charging towards. I meant everybody else.
Unmoving.
it-
No, there's
Liam
two
said
kind
he
of.
was sitting on the
maybe-
top
Liam
side.
Liam took a break at the top.
He
of the
said,
stairs.
"I'm gonna sit,"
He's like, I went up 4 stairs and now I'm tired.
which
Yeah,
I fully support and respect. I will. This is gonna go so fucking well. Just so everybody, just hold on to your butts. I'm gonna do my very damnedest to grab Val and get him away from the portal. Like, scruff the back of his neck. And I think this will be like
This is
a.
gonna go very poorly for you.
This is gonna go so well for me. And I don't know what that would that be strength? Would I
It'd be a
strength test?
contested strength check for grappling, I think.
Yeah, let's fucking do it.
Or if this was just a manifestation of who Tim dreamed to be.
It's just grapple's just a
I believe so.
all right. I got my bad roll out of the way. Hope you're ready to get scruffed.
All right.
Try to jump.
The battle of the bad rolls.
The battle of the bad rolls.
That's actually a good roll.
Oh. Wow.
What happens?
I think you technically win because your plus is more. Like mine's +0, yours is +5.
I don't know. I
Roll
truly
again.
don't know.
Sure.
Or we roll initiative and we beat the shit out of each other.
I got popcorn.
I like how David's finally rolling well.
On strength, which I have a +0 in.
You mother trucker.
Wanted to speak to the clerk to find out what's still available.
Oh, if he breaks free, I'm swinging.
So I assume Astrid attempts to grapple. Val struggles and finally is breaking free with that second roll. He kind of just turns to Astrid and goes, I can't let them roam a moment longer knowing what they've done.
You don't think that we all feel that way?
We all feel that way. So why are you stopping me?
Because look around you. And I'm not even counting you. Of everyone here, there is one person that has their wits about them, and it's barely me. Look at your companions. Are you really going to drag them into something else right now? If you want revenge, everybody has to have their wits about them. And none of us do.
Besides, Emmanuel served long jobs.
Don't be stupid.
Probably wouldn't care that much about people harassing
Because all you're doing right now is being stupid and selfish. And I understand the anger. I get it. Trust me. But you cannot run ahead and get either yourself killed or somebody else killed, because that's just one more thing that we have to either bear the brunt of or mourn. And I'm over it. So until we figure out what's going on, we're going to stay here.
second night.
I'd say give me a persuasion check.
All right.
I did a small
I can do that.
I do think Val is...
Would you like persuasion or would you like intimidation? Because I can
will
add,
leave that-
if you
I will leave
try
that
to
to
run
you.
into that portal, I will break your leg.
We've now
roll
stepped
what
into the
you-
realm
roll
of
what-
intimidation.
Yeah, roll what you feel.
Yeah, it's
Val's mindset is that he is okay going out by himself.
fucking shitballs.
Oh,
That's a 10. That's a 10, everybody.
I
You're welcome.
do not
Val's
think...
corner of his mouth kind of curls up underneath that dragon mask. Not intimidated at this point, and
This will begin the task of dismounting from his horse.
Fucking, I just want to punch your stupid little face.
You're
I'm in.
able to swing,
I will, actually.
but
Thank you. We're doing this. Thank you.
I still have some heal spells. We'll be fine.
not gonna
Does a
hit.
12 hit, bitch?
Nope.
Gosh, dang it.
David, when did you switch roles with her? She's rolled over to 2.
Is it
I'm
sad
so-
that I...
God.
No. I'm gonna do this because it's important. It's a 22.
It's a 22?
He
22.
uses cleric
He's
ability.
using his reaction.
there's a 22 hit.
Will a 22 hit?
22 will hit.
I guess this needs to happen, folks.
Bludgeoning.
Okay,
Straight to your little face.
took it.
And since this is technically an action, I get to swing at you again. Right?
She was so proud. It's like, right?
Now she's
I'm waiting for her to think about if she has smite or not.
You know, I debated throwing a smite in there. I don't know if I can smite with my unarmed strikes.
I
Can
don't think you
You
can't.
can.
No, it has to be a weapon.
I'm not sure.
Let me see. Because I will.
Well, okay.
I will. Ooh, weapon or unarmed strike.
Oh,
I will use the. No. Okay. Well, this is where it gets weird.
this is a doubly blessed strike.
So can I?
You can use any of the smites that are in your spell.
The power of our gods compel you.
Yeah, truly. Da.
Please use the bitch slap smite, please.
I'm going to do a level 5 smite.
Jesus!
No, I'm not. I'm just going through all of my different.
Okay,
It's a-
he wasn't being that whiny. Good lord.
So I didn't call it before, and the rules are different. So I use the smite as my bonus action. Can I still retroactively call it? Is that how this works still?
Yeah, smites are, you still get to smite when you hit. You still get to choose to. You don't have to say.
Are
I'm
you considered a
smiting,
fiend
then
or an
contact.
undead?
No.
Yes.
Don't listen to Alex.
Alright, so that's an additional 11 damage. I would hope that that smite also kind of knocks you back a little, just for funsies.
Yeah, describe it.
I mean, once he breaks from Astrid's grasp, he's being. She fully she fully recognizes she's also being very not helpful and a little malicious at this point. But as he breaks hold and kind of she rocks back, that whole as he breaks when she goes back, it's gonna put her whole that backward flip forward into just his face. Straight, just punch with smite. Like almost as like a immediate reaction to like. It's sad that it's immediate reaction to violence, but here we are.
Have you met us?
And I'm hoping that punch I swing and it will punch him so that he takes a step back away from the direction he was headed. That's the hope. Whether that happens.
Well, let's. Okay, we have the thing. Are you taking a second swing? Because you get 2 attacks per round.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'll punch him again. Why not?
So you're a
She's also-
Pokemon.
I would like to point out she is also very pissed in not having cash money time.
So you just Jigglypuffed double slapped him, is what I'm catching.
Yeah. Ugh. 20. 30, 20. Does that hit?
That is my AC. That does hit.
Good. Take another 6 damage.
I like that you're pummeling him while saying, I'm the only one that has my wits about me.
I was just thinking
It's
about
true.
that.
It's true.
I'm just going through my inventory and realizing I don't have a superior healing potion anymore. It's just like, oh well.
You're watching your brother get the shit beat out of him. And you're like, damn, I don't wonder where that potion went.
Yeah, like when he first stabbed himself, I was like, well, he's going through something. When he feels better, I'll give him this potion. And now I'm like, that potion isn't going to be enough.
All right, okay, so we have the action. Let's get to the roleplay reaction, so then we can figure out how bad this ends up being.
Well, I can see that your wits are quite about you.
You realize that the thing we expected was absent. Figuring out why was a quick process, since it had been his blood draw that was itching.
I will.
Yeah.
Bumble will walk forward, and I will simply heal. Do you feel better now, Astrid?
Yes. No.
Heal 9.
That'll be a few feet
All right, let me get the voice. All right, give me a second. I'm trying to get it to get the voice. I'm just tired. While my sentiments are similar, as he looks down at the paladin, I'd rather not have to revivify someone.
Well, if we're going to continue, probably be better not immediately resort to it, murder somebody.
I wasn't gonna kill you.
Yeah, tell that to your blazing fist with smites. Not really something that you do to somebody you're not kill.
I remember
I
someone
had-
cutting off someone's hand, so I'm just saying, like, there was a
Helpful,
point
Liam.
when...
Liam, helpful.
Just saying, sometimes people do things they don't mean to do out of love, whatever.
While the comment is not helpful, the sentiment is true. I think all of us have gone through this type of trial.
I don't think what happened to my brother's arm when I physically had no control of my body is the same as what's going on here. But okay.
You're missing the point.
Oh, am I?
Everything was crisp and clear.
Point is that she's trying to show that she cares about you, and she's worried about you. And
Yes, we all care about each other and we all worry. Get moving. We've all gone
Promise-
through shit. I understand that. We need to go.
then promise me this. When we're done with this, we will all sit and talk. Agree.
Oh, I would love to have a chit chat over a fire, some drink. That sounds lovely. Fortunately, we have shit to do, and standing here is not going to get it
Grab,
done.
throw.
Am I still weak, Viva?
Are you
Are you
and-
throwing him?
Oh, well, I'm throwing both of you, really.
So
God.
you
okay.
can make a
I will.
strength attempt, but just know it's going to be at a disadvantage.
Oh.
As your attempt to pick this up, you start to like kind of keel over in pain, and your any attempts at quick movements there's going to be completely hindered. So
Oh, well, that's bad. He'll kind of like go to his very physically playful self and kind of like grab and throw it, and he stops like in mid motion, and he looks confused.
Look, I agree that we need to move on and we need to take care of this. Unfortunately, I think a few of us are having more than just emotional damage side effects from this. I can barely stand up and walk right now, despite not being hit before. So, while we could all go through this portal and see where it takes us, if we land somewhere where we need to act, like you want us to do, I don't think we're going to be anything more than a burden to you. And more than likely, if they're powerful enough to do this shit, then you're going to need all of us. Because no matter what happened, no one wants you to throw your life away just out of the sake of saying you did something. I say this while sitting on the top step and like not getting up because it's tiresome.
Like Velmo just kind of like, I won't say he joins Liam per se.
he
I
would
guess
never,
he's too tall then.
he would never do such a thing.
Yeah, he did, but he kind of does. Like just kind of.
I'm, with the last of my strength, I'm just tapping on my thigh.
I'm not saying that I don't agree that we need to go. Just. What I saw was my temple. The one I built. And while I disagree with the entity which attempted to manifest as an old man who
Oh,
desecrated
he's the one I'm going to kill.
same one then.
I didn't see the old man in mine, did I?
You talked to him.
No, I didn't talk to an old man. I only talked to Katrid.
Not what my notes say.
I
You saw the old
Ben,
guy,
you just
then
watched
you saw
it.
Katrid, and you walked away to go after Katrid, but you saw the old guy.
I just listened to it. You did talk. You didn't talk to him, but you saw him.
Okay.
Yeah, so you wouldn't remember that, but
Both Alex and Liam don't remember that because that was not the part that they focused on in this explanation.
That's
Fair.
see, that's fair.
That is fair.
I don't know if the old man was trying to actually teach a lesson or if this is all a facade. But I do see wisdom, or can find a lesson in what was revealed. I do dislike when one's attempted look into self is wrong and they feel justified. When we have been dealing with enemies who are deific. I saw my temple. I saw my temple used as a way to guard my heart to, as he said, hubris. I disagree, but clearly, as he gestures to himself, there is either enough power in this old man to affect me so, or his belief is affecting me, and this is a trial to prove ourselves to it, him, or they. I carry. He kind of looks at his left wrist. I carry their memory. It is a reminder. Those types of scars, when you carry the fallen, can weigh one down, like the stones of a mountain. But where I disagree is they can also be the strength of the same. It depends on how you use it. It depends on how deep the scars are allowed to go. If I had remained in those mountains, if I had never come down, if I had not met you all, you would be right. But I made the choice. It's like you need to make the choice to wait. Now, just for a moment. We've been too scattered. We've been too separated. And even if this is simply a trap, it is one we need to solve, and not by brute force. Not this time. This head kind of falls forward as like he's clearly fighting sleep. Just pure exhaustion.
Valen, who had been quiet this whole time, finally speaks up and he says that his encounter with the old man was brief, but all the old man had done was give him the tools to finally like speak out loud and notate the truth that he had been evading this whole time. The facts that he had been denying to himself the conflicting histories that he had been kind of pushing aside. That the old man had done nothing more than put a pen and paper in front of him and told him to deal with the reality that he was refusing to deal with. And so he has no hardship towards the old man. But his conflicting feelings are to those who he grew up around, to the history he had been told, to the reality that they had shaped for him.
Still appeared to consider the idea. If you could somehow manage to use the vials, they'd be choking and gasping for around half a minute, and your full would get broke right in their feet. Be hard for them to raise an alarm. Between the gasping and stinging eyes, they probably wouldn't see our approach. But all of that is theoretical. With my prospect, like Tristan himself, I'd like to be able to fix one to a bolt and hit the wall over everyone's head.
Sorry to hear your father has done those things. People continued or were put through what they were. We don't always get to choose our family or where we came. But we do get to choose are those who we love and those we keep near. Being made to choose to let them go.
Get the rest of you worked around for Grump's mage trial. Look, you're clearly a strong, strapping half-orc. But there's no way you can make that
It's not a choice one makes easily.
let alone two of them. I can. I'm froze from the dying when I
No.
walked over to a lord. This small fading has
It's not a choice that one makes easily.
I ask how you plan on managing that before we waste
Valen
inexpensive vials and announce our presence to the guards.
kind of shakes his head in agreement, and he comes and stands by your side. And he looks back at all the chambers with those now missing portals, and he agrees with you. There's nothing to do but move forward.
Since that meant he'd be among the last to reach the light, his role was the most fluid of the lot. Timoscore was to charge.
Do we? Are we still? Am I still weakened?
Yes.
If we're waiting
Yes.
here for this time, can I go ahead and cast Identify on myself?
Yeah, if you don't mind sharing that spell with it, though, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is gonna help, but I'm much anyway. I know it's here. I'm gonna.
Worried at the idea of bringing Mr. Peppers into battle with him, but this were out in the woods. The war was safer at Timoscore's side than left alone.
I'll try and cast Lesser Restoration. Bomb.
To stay behind. He followed the night stubbornly, only departing on rigorous occasions.
I don't know why it's making me roll, but
Timoscore's
just
eye, his body tensed, ready to go bursting out of the brush. It turned out to be the guards.
I don't think this is, though.
The sentry nearest to Timoscore.
But it's all I got right now.
It'll be 11. Oh, it's going to take 11 minutes for me to cast this because it's not prepared, and I'm casting as a ritual.
Okay, so Astrid's attempt at Lesser Restoration goes unproductively as Vamel still kind of notes that he's still feeling sluggish, still feeling tender. 11 minutes later, Liam, you feel as though, what?
So I've in character. I've been trying to do this to roleplay it out because I'm a larper. He takes this and he just says, it is time for you to rest. And I know that I have very little strength. I know I have disadvantage, but it just starts squeezing the beads. Not for prayer. He's trying to break his rosary. Because I hate to say it, the old man had a point. Don't fully agree to it, but it's a good point.
Hmm.
So I have 11 minutes to break a whole bunch of beads.
Oh boy.
So, William, after 11 minutes, looks as though you are touching yourself in order to see what it spells.
I'm just applying a pearl to myself.
Yeah,
Awkward.
and
You got a place you can apply that.
unfortunately, you're not finding a spell. You're what is bothering you is not a spell.
Is it a magic effect?
I mean, I guess a curse would be a magic effect. Yeah.
Oh, so if it's a curse, then I think identify doesn't identify it or tells me that. But
Yeah.
if it's a spell or spell effect, it would.
Yeah.
You
so
learn
no.
whether any ongoing spells are affecting.
Yeah.
me.
So this is not a spell. Yeah. So
Okay.
so and then you just hear this as the last bead is broken. And, well, you've given them an opportunity to do what they need to do.
Have we gathered ourselves?
Honestly, it doesn't matter if we're ready or not. Life does not wait for us as much as I wish I did. Thank you for waiting as long as you have.
Wish you go through. Just
Speak into your mic.
let my.
Dude, your mic had
I
been
said
perfect
I
all
wish
night.
you couldn't. Sorry, I keep fucking with my audio because I keep seeing it go off with Emily as well.
Just mute
That's
it.
just how it's gonna be. We just have to roll.
I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I wish you didn't have to, and I wish that my suffering would have been enough to get us moving. But yes, life does go on. We are never ready for it, but we must get going.
There
And
are
you
all
all
things that need to happen.
step through the portal.
Yep.
Are we still weak, the two of us?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
You find yourself in this cool air, damp with this acidic taste in the air, kind of like battery acid on the tongue. Your eyes burn a little bit. And it's just this putrid air hovers around. Find yourselves in a long hallway. The ground covered in just like this this thin film of mucus. There's lights that light the hallway. And that's where we'll stop tonight.
Ugh.
Ugh. Hey, we didn't break up the party.
Did
Nope.
break up your face though.
Because I will tell you, you were real close to making Val lash back out and just fucking leaving.
I
It would
know.
have been player versus player there if you kept going.
I know. I knew what I was doing.
That was good though.
All right, so possibly one more session before we all meet.
Maybe. What weeks would that be? Because it's not next Saturday. Emily and I can't.
Next Saturday. The following weekend is like
November
Thanksgiving-ish
30th.
weekend. The
That's,
30th.
yeah,
Yeah,
the,
the
the
30th.
Saturday
Is it?
after Thanksgiving.
Isn't
I
21?
actually-
Isn't Thanksgiving next
Nope.
week?
No, it's the 28th.
Nope.
28th, the last Thursday.
I thought it was the third Thursday of the month.
It's the final Thursday of the month. You're
Are they
thinking of Easter.
are really?
Yeah. My son is super happy because his birthday always falls so close to Thanksgiving that like his friends can never make it to birthday parties. So this year we're outside of the Thanksgiving week. And so we had a good
Nice.
one.
Really?
Yep.
All right,
Well,
so not the
then-
third. So not next week, not the 30th.
I
Well,
would definitely I can make myself available for the 30th.
I can make
mean,
myself available on the 30th.
Because we're just doing stuff with our
Yeah,
parents.
we should be able.
Okay, so maybe the 30th for us.
Yeah, because
So-
like I'm doing family stuff Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, we're doing family stuff the 23rd, and then we're doing stuff on the 28th.
Yeah. So by the 30th, by the time the 30th comes around, I'm not seeing anybody.
I would
Done.
love to not
That's
see
fair.
people around then.
Yeah.
It'd be great, except for y'all. I just don't want to go see family.
Yeah. So
I have something the 30th.
Yeah.
oh, you do?
Use-
Okay.